Alright, so we are now leaving Gold Saucer. Be sure to do the Fort Condor mission if you want to. This is the time to do it before we head to the Temple of the Ancients. So it's on a tiny island between the two big continents. Okay, so far it's been pretty straightforward. This is where it gets really confusing. Now you're going to be in a maze for a while, Every time I've ever played this game, I always have trouble in here. I did a fairly clean run, fortunately, when I went through here. I did make one mistake, but I will show you where that happens. So there's tons of different pathways to choose from, and while we're trying to figure out which way to go, we also are trying to get all the items, because you'll notice there's lots of chests and pieces of materia and other items laying around. So just follow closely on the path that I make. This trident, this is a weapon for Sid. I decided to leave the Dragoon Lance on because I like having lots of materia slots open. Level up materia faster that way. Basically, you'll know you're going the right way because we're following that little guy that's hopping around. So if he keeps moving, you'll know you're going the right way. Be sure to grab this turbo ether before following him. Just so you know, every character in this game has a weapon that has absolutely no materia slots on them. And usually when you get them, they're fairly strong, so it's kind of a toss-up on whether you want to use them or not. For example, the silver rifle, that is a weapon for Vincent, and it will have 0 materia slots. The umbrella for Ares that we went through all that trouble of getting, it's her strongest weapon in terms of attack power, but it has 0 materia slots. And in this temple, we're going to get a lot of those weapons for people, the ones that don't have the materia slots on them. So it's kind of up to you on whether you want to use them, because the attack power will probably be stronger than any weapon you have, but then you also won't be able to have any materia on the weapon. So you can choose to rest and or save from that guy. And then after that, we're going to head back down to where we came from, and this time we're going to go down the stairs. So that weapon there, the rocket punch, that's for Barrett, and like I was saying before, that has 0 materia slots. So, you're supposed to go into that pathway right here, but this is my one slip up. You want to head down here first and climb up the vines. Don't worry about that other chest for now, we will get it later. If you see that pink thing shining there, that's luck plus materia. Now we're going to head into this path. Now, this isn't very hard, but there's going to be boulders that are rolling. You want to be sure to land in that little space each time so you don't get crushed. If you get crushed, you have to start over. So if we head over here, we're going to get the morph materia. I suggest putting that on right away, even if you don't use it, because you will need it soon and you want it leveled up. Once we get to the edge here, the rocks will stop falling. Here is another good opportunity to save. Okay, so now we have a clock, and each hour has a pathway that we can go through. I would suggest just following the exact order that I do it in, just so you don't miss anything and so you don't get to something too early. So you start at the 10 o'clock. We're going to head down to the 4 o'clock space. And now we're going to get the Princess Guard, which is Ares' ultimate weapon. Now, if you're not real familiar with this, you have the option of moving time by yourself. You can spin it, or you can go, and then you can also go forwards and backwards in time. So the next stop we have to make is the 5 o'clock pathway. Now here I ended up screwing up. You can't have that second hand land where you're walking, or else you will fall like this. However, you do want to fall at some point because there's another chest here that we can get. So whether you want to do that last or not, it's fine, but you will have to fall at some point to get this item. This isn't when I was planning on doing it, but this is just how it happened. Then here we get the nail bat, which is a weapon for Cloud that has no materia spots for it. So once we leave, it's going to take us out through this pathway that we couldn't get into before. And now we're just going to head back the same way as we did, which will lead us to that pathway where the boulders were at. Okay, now we've made it back to the clock. So we're going to try this again. We still need to go down the 5-hour pathway. So instead of spinning this time, I'm just going to move time myself forwards. Make sure we don't hit the second hand this time. And this takes us to the chest that we couldn't get to before. This is the ribbon. I think by far the best accessory in the game. Protects you from all abnormal statuses. That would include sleep and confusion, paralyze, everything. It's awesome. Okay, now we are going to skip the 6 hour. We're going to head to hour number 7. This second hand really got in my way, more than it usually does. I had to wait for it quite a few times. So this takes us to another chest that gets us the trumpet shell. And this weapon is Kate Sith's with no materia slots on it. Now we're going to head to the 8 o'clock hour. And this chest will give us a Megalixir. As you can see, I failed miserably on my spin. Let me try this again. We're trying to get to the 6 o'clock hour now. And we see that guy is here, and he wants to play a game. So if you notice all these pathways here, we have to catch him. And unfortunately, each path that you go into takes you to a random hole. It's not random, there is a pattern. But even if you go back into that hole that you just came out of, it will not take you to the previous pathway. It'll take you to a different one. So we have to try and figure out where he is going next. So I'm going to head into that first door on the top. Now you see he's going into the second one on the left. Now I'm going to drop down and grab this chest, the work glove, which is Tifa's weapon with no materia slots on it. And then I'm going to head into the second door on the right on the bottom, which is where he was coming out of. So he unlocks the door that's up top. This is also another really good time to save. I strongly suggest you save here. So this concludes this episode. Stay tuned for the next one where we do the conclusion of the Temple of the Ancients.